is everyone?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one.
Guess this is it.
I'll bet you there'll be a couple more stragglers coming around here. When you get the sun out, it's hard to look at a computer screen at all.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out.
Yeah, super nice. Okay, you guys can see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, right on. All right, got things up and running here. I'm gonna pull you guys a little bit bigger as well. Let's go. Where are we at? Wow. The Zoom is really clunky today. I don't know what the problem is. Okay. Apologies, everybody. Just gonna grab the corner. Okay, I guess it's not, I guess that feature of Zoom isn't going to work today for some reason. I was going to show everybody the roller and cut assignments. Appreciate everybody that turned them in, and also their progress images. I love seeing the progress of it. This is Allison's. She had been working on kind of a hovering, like a splashing cup anyway, and so the hovering project worked good for that. The hovering, floating, flying theme to our project worked good. So. So here it is, it made it on the board, and I guess she got a new board here, which is super cool. That looks like it's not primed, but if it's just for exercise or whatever, you know, it's not meant to endure in the elements. It's not necessary to necessarily prime it. It's driving me crazy, the Zoom won't work. But yeah, nice and big. And she expanded the lines ultimately. So you could see the roller and cut happening here. Like you don't have an earlier version than this, but you know, the yellow paint was on there and then the gray was cut into it. And then she went ahead and thickened some of the lines, which I think looks super good. Got this one here. So yeah, I unfortunately, because Zoom is acting really weird right now, I can't tell if Allison's on the call. Is she there? If she is, she could speak up. Okay.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think she is.
Okay. Dang. Okay. Oh, there. It finally worked. There. Okay. I can see who's on the call now. That helps. Okay. So moving on to our next ones here. We have Brooks Crow with this cool moon thing, and looks like she was able to also do some cutting. I think that the tree was added later, but the roller and cut action happened with the crow, the body and the posture of it, and I think it turned out super cool. I had suggested even to differentiate some of the feathers. The feathers looked a little bit repetitive as far as, you know, I'm doing a lot of birds now, so I guess I'm in tune to it. But, you know, each type of feather on a bird is actually a, you know, different shaped feather and whatnot. So, you know, not to get nitpicky, this isn't like a science illustration, but nonetheless, yeah, the highlights look really cool. I love the fact that she used a non-traditional color, not just white, but used a pink and used an orange sun or moon, whatever it is and stuff. So that turned out good. And let's see, we have Alexa's here with her tubes of paint that came finally.
Yeah, the circular ones I ordered, and then the green one is Brandy's that she left, and she's like, we're probably not going to see each other, so you can use it if you want. I'm like,
oh, that's good. Oh. Yeah. Cool. So you just kind of blobbed the color on there, and then later you did cut into it with the background color.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How did it work for you?
The roller or the cutting?
I guess the cutting. The cutting is kind of the, you know, however you get the paint on the board, that's, you know,
The
that
cutting
can be any
went
number
pretty
of
well.
ways, but the cutting, you know, like kind of establishing the shape after the fact. Had you done anything like that before?
Yes. This is on the same side as the cupcake one that I did, and I did a lot of cutting for that one. I don't know, the cutting was good. I just made the blob like way too big. It extended like 6 inches higher than I wanted it, so.
The blob for the frog, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, but that's how it is. You know, remember when I showed my my jumping jerboa, it was way, way bigger than I intended it to be, but I just whittled it down. So better to go extra. I love how the feet came out there just after, you know, if you go back in time here, like, yeah, that really got the posture down. That turned out awesome. Just how you
Thank
just
you.
a couple strokes that came in there, and yeah, looks like rabbit feet just with a few little strokes there. Or sorry, frog feet. What did I say, rabbit?
That's cute.
Yeah. The lines in the clouds like that, that's super cool.
Thank you. Along with the like cutting with the paint, it was really fun to like take my paint marker and outline his like feet and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And once you put lines anywhere, you kind of need to put them everywhere. You know, you can't just do one little
Yeah.
part and leave it at that. So
hmm
yeah, it looks great. It looks like a little storybook, and is he floating to heaven here? Or this is like Heaven's Gates here?
He
Or-
can be going either way. I'm like,
Falling out.
whatever's up to it.
Yeah. Depends on the cost of helium to frogs
Yeah.
at that time. Cool. Yeah. And had you seen line work like this before? Or
I was trying to do like a. Sorry if you hear my dogs. I was trying to do like a Dr. Seuss thing, kind of, and I looked over some of his like full colored drawings. But I just, at least for his body, I used a regular like line shading thing that I always did, and I'm like, for the clouds, I'll just, I don't know. So I have seen stuff like that before, but not specifically.
yeah, it's great though. Just they all go the same diagonal. When I first looked at it, I was like, I wondered, I'm just wondering out loud here. I don't know if it would be better to fill the highlights with white and to have a black line around them or not, or just white instead, or I don't know. What do you guys think? Any ideas on that? Not that this is the wrong way to go about it, but there's a lot of solutions to highlights,
I wanted to do white, but I didn't have any, so I'm like,
Yeah, totally. What do you guys think? White with a black line around it in this situation, or no black line?
I would do white with a black outline because I feel like without it would look a little bit weird because like everything else has an outline
Yeah.
except for the white.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably fall into that camp too. Sweet.
Maybe just a lighter version of the yellow or the green on the or red on the balloon.
Mm-hmm. And with a line around it, you think, Cindy?
Yeah, I do. Just like on the frog where you've got that ombre type. And a little bit of green mixes into the yellow.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's a great composition too. I
Very
like how
cool.
the clouds create just, a little gap here to see the sky behind. And I think I had mentioned in my comments in your journal too, it'd be really interesting to see this with a really light sky color too. It has a dark color, but something to be
Yeah.
done with
Mhm.
Photoshop or whatever. But yeah, that's cool though. It's just a complete composition. It's really turned out well. Hope you're happy with it.
yeah, thank you.
I hope you have an answer when somebody asks you the meaning of it. You can,
Oh,
say,
it's up
a
to
metaphor.
whatever they
Yeah.
want.
Cool. Nice work, Alexa. Oh, and then here's your preliminary sketches too. And anything to do with frogs? Or are you just into frogs?
I like frogs, not a lot, but I haven't drawn them very much, so I wanted to do something with them.
Yeah. A lot of types of frogs out there. I think all of our frogs here that you hear at night have kind of quieted down now, unfortunately. Cool. We have Miles who's on the call here. He did his roller and cut. You remember he did a digital mock-up of this, and then he found himself some plywood. Is this just like in your garage or something?
Yeah, it was just a piece of plywood.
Mm-hmm. And you got permission to use this plate, or is this a paper plate?
It's a paper plate.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, that works for a roller thing that is a thing that, is nice to have, like a little mini roller pan for the mini roller. But yeah, plate works good, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And here it is starting to take shape here. And did you use some of these lines in order to set it out proportionate, or are these just accidental cracks in the plywood? I can't tell.
Those were just cracks in the plywood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't very high quality wood.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't actually really follow my sketch much at all. So
Let it happen organically. That's cool. That's kind of the intent of the project anyway. But I love the fact that you did preliminary stuff with your computer. And here we have And forgive me for saying so, but this looks like a mountain range.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
the intent, but I didn't want
You know, it was, yeah. I don't really know how it happened.
But
I don't really,
that's a really cool idea for a theme, you know, like a whale that's about to like smash on a mountain range, just like it's waves or something. So
yeah,
things that
it was
weren't intended,
entirely,
but
definitely intentional.
yeah, cool.
100,000%.
Hmm. And it's interesting. You're kind of have a similar solution to Alexa here, as far as you have a white highlighter, like let's just say this is snow, or even if it's like frothiness on a wave or whatever, and you did outline it about half of it, and then you let it kind of diffuse below that too. So that's another version of what could have been done in the balloons too. So I think that looks great. I like that it's not lined everywhere, just part of it. Are you
I was
happy
just
with
kind of
Or go ahead.
sorry. Have any of you guys seen the Fantasia 2000 thing where there's like whales floating in the sky and they're
So
swimming?
cool. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah.
If it's supposed to be a mountain range or water, it looks like it's like.
Totally. Yeah, that's a really underrated kind of unknown version of Fantasia that a lot of people don't even know exists. Super cool though. The animation looks a little dated now, but so cool. Yeah. Sweet. Well, nice job, Miles. I like it.
Gracias.
And here we have Danielle's here. And yeah, she got the blobbage on here and I don't know. You could have brushed it on. Do you think the roller worked, or could you have just brushed that orange color on, or?
No, I like the roller just because I like the kind of even texture it produces, and
Uh-huh.
you know, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, you don't want to get those little blobs at the edges off.
Yeah.
Looks like Sage is skating here. And carrying on here, you kind of did the skull technique that guy did. I can't remember the name of the guy that made the video where he wiped out the skull.
Yeah, the wash.
And you did that? You kind of dabbled with the paint while it was still wet?
Yeah, I put a lot of water in the paint and then just kind of kept adding colors to create different, depths of highlights and shadowing.
Oh, yeah. That's one of those things. I have had a number of students who just, it doesn't occur to them, or they don't realize that you can water down acrylic paint. They kind of think of watering down as just for watercolor, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
for sure. I love light washes of acrylic. It
a
works
neat way
really
to
well.
use it.
Yeah. And I've done like washes with oil paint too, with turpentine or some kind of thinner that can just make it a lighter version of it. And then the black eyes add a lot here, and the creepy black fingernails. Those are the creepiest part.
They're like a super dark blue. They kind of come out black there. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're more like a turquoise.
And there's no speech bubble yet on that?
Huh?
There's no speech bubble here? I kind of think he needs to be saying something.
You do?
Yeah.
No speech bubble. There's not room for it on these boards.
Yeah, I know. It is. Hopefully by now the boards seem small to everybody. It does to me.
It does.
Nice work. And here we have Mia's. And turned out remarkably like your digital mock-up. Looks great. I love how the red shone through kind of on the nose and the front of the face of this one. That was intentional, I take it?
Yeah, it was. It's that little hamster of ours. He has a ginger face. He's a ginger hamster. I hope you guys can hear me okay and that there's not a lot of background sound right now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I like in the thought bubble here how you have this little extra, sorry, I should be zoomed in here, shouldn't I? The extra white highlight. Kind of I don't know how I would describe that, but kind of a 60s style where they used to have lines, but then they didn't necessarily correspond with the colors, kind of look like a misprint or something, but how, you have like the blob of color, but then the lines that don't exactly line up. That's a cool look there for sure.
Thank you.
And so you used a number of different brushes, it looks like, to get this really fine brown line here. How did that work out? The super tiny brush, or did you have it brown underneath and then you painted the white over it and just left the brown edge?
I know, I just use a super small brush.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was easier that way. I'm not that coordinated.
Yeah, super cool exclamation point there too. Yeah, and I love the way that the red box just kind of sets it off.
Yeah, I felt like it framed it.
Yeah. And so there's a little bit of a different color here. Did you mix this paint and that's why it's a different color, or did you just grab a different color?
Yeah, I mentioned this in my journal, but I didn't anticipate how quickly my colors would dry out, especially like with the warmer weather, and I have
Yeah.
my fan running in my room now. So that just dried out my mixed colors immediately. So that blue splotch there is supposed to be like that teal color, but it didn't work out clearly.
No, it's not distracting.
Yeah, like dried out within minutes.
Yeah. Wow, so it just looks so cool. I mean, I really think that the work you did in the computer was time well that paid off as far as efficiency goes, because I think you knew exactly what you wanted to do when you got to the board. You know, there's no guesswork at that point. So
Thank you.
yeah, being able to mock up things in the computer is a very powerful skill. Those of you who don't use a computer yet to lay stuff out. So cool, nice work, Mia.
Thanks.
And oh, sorry. This is, I forgot that
That's
you had a
the
preliminary
blob.
image there. Yeah, this is the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is where the red was going to go. And you taped it
Yeah.
out. Cool. Sweet. You got the little mini roller pan, like it.
That's what dried out immediately.
Yeah. Those are actually, I have used that exact one that you have there. And yeah, the ink kind of goes in the pockets on both sides of the bumped surface. It just gets stuck there and thick, and I feel like I wasted a lot of paint in that area.
Yeah.
Because some of them are still
Yeah.
pointed downward, and so they still flow down, but that one is totally horizontal, and so the paint just stays back there and gets
Yeah.
wasted. So Noelle can't be on the call today. She had something come up, but nonetheless, here it is. She added a little bit more of the dark. It's not a highlight, but you know, that's the easiest word to use right now. Low light on the side of the tentacles and also underneath kind of the main body of it. So kind of keeps evolving. And then there's some other light green on there. So it turned out super cool. I think she's happy with it. I think she likes jellyfish as well. Here is Raimundo's. And yeah, we have the beginnings of tape here. And you just painted right over the tape here. Did you wait till this dried, till you pulled the tape off, or did you pull it off wet?
I actually use it to line up the cow. So just
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it went completely south. It went terrible. The plan was like put a light coat of like yellow to like pick up the cow. But when I mixed a little bit of water, it rubbed on the black of the cow and it just ruined everything. It was terrible.
Well, is this a Sharpie?
Yeah, it's a Sharpie. It wasn't the Sharpie, it was the black on the spots.
Really? Like, is that paint?
Yeah, the paint, I guess, I don't know. I thought it wasn't dry
dried,
enough.
or,
Yeah, so it kind of ruined everything.
Because I don't know, it kind of also looks like the Sharpie's bleeding too. Because Sharpies are notorious if you try to paint over the top of them. So
Yeah.
maybe in hindsight, next time, the
because I
black will be
wanted
the
the
last color, you know?
Yeah, but I wanted it to like, I guess, like fade. I guess be in the background. I wanted like the yellow to be
Yeah,
up
to
front.
kind of cover over it. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but it didn't really work. So
Uh-huh.
I ended up just like doing like little stripes, I guess. It has the same idea.
It looks really
Not
cool.
not the same, but yeah.
I like how you crop it. You don't have to show the whole UFO to know that it's an entire UFO.
Yeah.
So have you seen anything like this happen?
No.
Okay. Keep us informed if you do. It looks like you're able to successfully paint over with the white there too.
Yeah, a couple coats of the primer.
Cool. That's awesome. This kind of reminds me, I went to this, I was in Africa once, and there was a monastery up in this rock cliff where everybody lived on the top of this rock shelf that was, you know, hundreds of feet up. And I just happened to be there this one day when they were hauling a cow up with straps, like made out of like leather straps. And it's just like grinding on the side of the cliff, but they pulled this huge cow up the side of the cliff. It was quite amazing. It kind of had the same posture. Freaked out looking posture. Cool, nice work.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Cindy sent me a link here. I wondered if this is something you could put on, Cindy. She did this as a theme for some of your students, right?
Right. So it's an assignment I do every fall for their sketchbook cover. They cover it in white, and then they have to figure out their favorite recipe, which leads them down a lot of different roads. They love to talk about food, and they end up calling their mom and like, what goes into macaroni and cheese or whatever. And so then they have to think about the recipe and then
Orange
each
food coloring,
ingredient that
number
goes in.
26.
And then they could put it into a bowl or jar on a table, whatever they want. But this was
Yeah.
my idea, the fisherman type stew or cioppino.
It's such a good idea for a theme of a project. So Cindy sent me a link to a video where she just shows her working time lapse and describes the process, and it's a super sweet video and obviously came out really well. So this is the 2x4 board here. So it's giant, right? Like the ingredients are larger than life size, right?
They are, aren't they? But yeah, it turned out cool.
Turned out really good.
I didn't think I was going to get outside, and I thought, I'm just going to paint on the board. But I was glad I did, because this was a tough assignment, and I saw that on the journal, like, what do you make airborne?
Yeah.
And then I thought, well, I might as well do this because it's something I'm already interested in doing, a time-lapse video for my students to watch, because we're probably going to be Zooming next fall.
Hate to admit that. Yeah, hopefully not. Yeah, it turned out so good though. I just love it. There's so many colors, so much going on. And can you estimate how many hours you worked on it?
What's that?
Can you estimate how long you worked on it?
Probably too many. But I enjoyed working on it, and I think when you enjoy, like, I know I'm going to use it in the future, I just spent more time on it. But eventually I just stopped because I just couldn't spend more time on it. But
it's the hardest thing about being an artist is knowing when to stop.
Yeah.
Old stuff, I'm like, I just want to like put a little highlight or just do a little tinker. But yeah, you have to know when to say when, for sure.
And then you make a little tinker, and then you have to like do a whole section over again.
Yeah, for sure. Really strong work there. That's really
fine.
Beautiful.
It's fine.
The steam worked out well, and yeah, I want to eat it. Makes me want to eat some paella.
Yeah.
You said this is cioppino?
Yes.
Which is an Italian recipe that has seafood, and it's like a soup, basically.
Right. So it seems that every culture has a seafood stew. So you can call it cioppino, you can call it fish stew, you can call it fisherman stew.
Yeah.
So I just looked up a recipe, and those are all the ingredients that recipe called for. I think it was Epicurious recipe. So, and again, it was fun to work with the Adobe Fresco and my iPad. I'm definitely getting better, which made the painting process go a lot faster because I had the design already worked out.
Totally. Yeah. It's so nice to be able to have the composition worked out just so you can just lay it in once you know.
Yeah.
So you just freehanded it on there?
Well, I did. Like you'll see in the video, I kind of put in the spots of color first. I put in spots where each of the items are. So they're circling kind of overhead, and then blobs where each of the ingredients go. And then I cut in the background, which was really freeing for me, because I think if I would have done the grid, I would have had to spend a lot more time and would have got caught up in a lot more detail.
Yeah.
So I like this assignment because I can see how it's different than the past assignments, and you can choose your process depending on what you want your outcome to be.
Yeah. The grid can definitely slow you way down, and that's another hard part, is to know what kind of transfer method you have if you're working on sketches on another sketch pad or digital or whatever. But yeah, there's certain situations where the grid is not the right choice, and hopefully I'm conveying that to everybody. Like there's times I was talking to Danielle yesterday about projection. That's sometimes the best idea. I was talking to you too about it, Cindy.
Yeah, I found a projector, so I'm good.
Oh, sweet. Awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, it turned out really well. I'm really impressed. And the video is such a well-produced video. It seems like you had a whole team behind you doing it.
No. Yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel if you want to see it.
Yeah, which is what for everybody?
Cindy Noyd.
Cindy Noyd? CYNDINOYD.
Yeah. So I opened that up for my students, and I'll be posting, for elementary to high school students all summer long.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So if you feel like it, subscribe, because I think I'm supposed to get a lot of subscribers. I have 8.
Yeah. Also, I should have subscribed. Sorry, I didn't subscribe when I was there. Sweet.
Super fun.
So Brandy, and I think she's not on the call, so we can talk about her. I love the color palette she chose, and kind of the way that she drew it and illustrated it. Kind of reminded me of like the Scooby-Doo episode or something from, I don't know, the 60s or 70s. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but really, really cool, playful colors there. And, the house is askew. Of course, it's a reference to Up, or it's meant to look like the house in Up, which she loves. Actually, I didn't like that movie that much. It had potential, but yeah. Is anybody else a big Up fan?
Wait, why don't you like Up? It's a good movie.
It is a good movie, but I don't know, it just felt like the plot was just going everywhere, and I don't know. When they went to that adventurer hunter guy, I thought that was just kind of a weird turn that I didn't expect. I wasn't ready for that, so. It's a good movie though. And it looks like gumdrops. Oops. So yeah, I think she intentionally left the sky kind of undone at the edges there, but otherwise it's very smooth and clear at the middle part with some neat cloud texture there. So yeah, turned out really good. And here we have River, and let's see, she's not on the call either. So she's the Cheshire Cat, or something akin to it. And here it is, starting with the beginning blocks. And I think that ultimately it became that the lines at the top were kind of like motion lines. I think I asked her that question, she didn't answer, but I think it's like a falling head. I don't know if it just got its head chopped off or what's happening, but it is that kind of creepy, scary look to it that the Cheshire Cat has. So nice job with the highlights in the eyes and whatnot. Cool. Nice flat black. Here's Tia, and Tia's prescription bottle with the cap here, just happy pills. And yeah, some people have happy pills and makes them feel good. Some people have to take medication. That doesn't make them happy. But yeah, it turned cool. My suggestion was to not go for a white highlight on, let's say, the bottle here, but something that was just kind of like a slightly lighter orange color and kind of give it a little luminous glow. But I totally respect and understand that it's kind of a graphic side view of it. It kind of looks like I was telling her it looked like this assignment I had for an illustration class a couple years ago, where we did prescription drugs, and actually we chose the subject of opioids, and we just had a graphic that accompanied an article, and it was just kind of an assignment. It was very similar to this. A lot of students did stuff with the bottle and pills and arrange them in different ways, and it was actually really fun to do kind of a digital version of that. So yeah, cool. Oh, and then here's the actual board sitting there, and then kind of a sketch version that became vector, perhaps. And here we have Morgan, and this incredibly beautiful background here that looks like you have greens and blues maybe, and some other stuff. Did you apply this with a brush or with like a rag?
It was mostly brush. I painted over my ice cream one. You could probably still see the
okay
on it.
I see it now.
Yeah,
So-
the background was originally more like turquoise, and then I
Yeah.
applied just normal blue on top, so it kind of has that blotchy look to it, I guess.
Yeah, And so moving through here, looks like your yellow paint didn't want to cover in one coat. Looks like it needed a couple coats.
Oh no, it didn't. Paint sucks. If
Yeah.
there's any darker color underneath my yellow, it'll pick up the darker color more.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's and again, I mentioned this before, but cheaper paints just have less pigment in them, and they fight to cover darker colors or lighter colors if they're dark. So yeah, kind of struggling with that right now myself. Got to do it. You just got to budget for a couple coats.
Yeah, I did it 7 times.
And what I do, just out of curiosity, for any of you that do mural in the future, if you're gonna, let's say, do this edge on the neck right here, your first pass, it makes sense to pull your brush like this. You set it and pull it away, and set it and pull it away. So there's little lateral ridges that go like this. So then by pass number 2, you pull it across perpendicular, and it fills in all those little mini valleys and ridges. And so that's the most efficient way to get 2 coats out of it. Or, the roller can work good too. You can really smush it in there and then cut over it. So it's a few ways. But as far as choosing 2 different brush stroke directions will really help minimize the coats. Cool, I like this. It looks like it's dancing or leaping, perhaps.
Yeah. It's from, I've been playing the Final Fantasy VII remake, and it's Chocobo.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar.
It's like a giant chicken bird.
It's just gives out hugs, or does it hurt people, or?
It's people use it for transportation, they ride it like a horse.
Oh, sweet. So no saddle though necessary, just bareback.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. And I can't remember if there's another. No, that's the picture there. So cool. Nice work. I like that there's not lines on it. I think it adds something to not have lines. I like seeing illustrations that are done both ways. So sweet. Nice work. Got a real believable gesture here. It's kind of cocked to the side, and yeah, looks like it is.
I thought about outlining it, but then I figured it looked like you could see enough of the shape for not needing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that you have a little bit of background showing through there really helps you understand the wing there. And yeah, it's cool. It's beautiful and huge. Maybe the largest chicken bird you've ever painted, I imagine.
Yep.
Cool. And yeah, we got Amanda here. And let's see, Amanda is on the line. So yeah, I described in your journal that we'd done these portholes thing in another mural class I had, where everybody got their own little porthole with little 3D rivets, and then they just drew whatever they wanted inside of that. So cool. So you're into dolphins in general?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of those creatures that I know a lot of facts about dolphins that are just interesting trivia, but yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, the porthole came out funny. I'm not good at painting circles.
Looks good to me. It's just missing the side of a ship or whatever it's attached to, but it's kind of cool that it's attached to nothing as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Have you seen dolphins in the wild before?
No, not in person.
Cool. So did you start with the gray and then the background came after? Or
yeah, I used primer first. And then I used gray, and yeah, that was an interesting process.
Yeah, there's a lot of blending that you managed to get out of the lighter colors of gray and the deeper colors of gray there.
Yeah, the lighter color is just the background color, only blended a bit better.
Well, I can't help but mention at least one little tidbit of trivia about dolphins. I don't know if you guys knew that, so they don't get separated from each other when they're sleeping from the pod. They sleep with one half of their brain at a time. So they sleep with one of the half of their brain is sleeping and that eye's closed, and the open eye is facing toward the other dolphins that are also have that side with its eye open and its brain awake, and then the side further away facing out of the pod is asleep. So they just sleep in one half of their brain at a time. It's quite amazing for a mammal.
That's cool.
I would love to do that. Cool, nice work.
Thank
came
you.
out great. It's huge. Because that's the whole 2x4 board, right? So
Yeah, I actually had to get a new one because I didn't want to paint over the
oh yeah,
ones that
yeah,
I
that
had.
can happen for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice work.
Thank you.
And back at there, I get back at the beginning. I got everybody's right? It's on the call, I believe. Here's everyone's.
Yep.
I think I do. Cool. Well, yeah, hopefully the roller cut, like I said, it does work better when you have very large subjects on a mural wall, especially to use a roller like that. So, you know, it's kind of trending toward the smallest efficient use by doing it on our 2x4 boards, but it's much better bigger. So trust me, have it in the repertoire for future mural projects and other projects that you will use in the future. Okay, so we have some folks who are muraling around and about here. Let's see, where shall we start? So we have Miles here, and you have started on a balsam root that is cropped at the windows. So did you get further than what you have here, or is this where you're at right now?
No, that's pretty much what I have. I filled in one of the petals with the paint that was left over on my roller, but that's it right now.
Sweet. So you used a little roller to sketch out the shapes it looks like here?
Yeah, I pretty much just used a roller. I had a hammock in my car.
Mm-hmm.
So I had hammock straps, and I used the hammock straps to kind of like measure out the radius and stuff so that I kept
cool.
it circular-ish.
Good use.
Yeah.
I guess you could use a broom too, maybe.
Yeah, that would have worked, but you know, no, I guess you can see the straps on the ground there.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what those are.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I love how you just fit this in here. How you don't. I think some people that would approach this wall, they would say, "Oh no, I can only make the flower this big because that's as big as I can make it in this space." But to just crop it and just allow it to not exist, in the windows, but still expand out to the size is a really nice choice. It's really cool. And add a ton of color, and the immensity of the flower will still be apparent even if it is cropped like that.
Yeah, I ended up actually adding I made the petals a little bit smaller than my initial sketch, kind of just like, because in the middle section there, in my initial sketch, I only had one petal in that whole, because I just cropped it so much. Mm-hmm. But I added petals to get that kind of radial curvature up there, because when I had only a few bigger petals, it kind of ended up looking a little squashed, but I think adding petals helped it maintain its composure when it was being cropped.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can see that. Cool. So you said you're considering using spray paint for part of the center?
Yeah, because the center is a lot of the little pollen tube things, and when you look at them straight on, they're kind of circular. So I've been trying to experiment with how I'm going to do that, and I went out and picked some balsam root the other day to try to figure out how to make those to the best of my ability. But yeah.
Just take some pictures on your phone. That's probably a good idea for them too. They fade quick if you pick them.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Well, I can't wait to see where that goes.
Thank you.
I'll let you know when you're headed down there. I'll stop by.
Heck yeah.
Kind of just right close to there. Let's see. We have other folks painting in the area. And this is the only picture I have of yours, Cindy, but it's the most complete version, right? Or do you work today, perhaps, you said?
Yeah. So I went back today and fixed the fingers of that lower hand and then cut in the shirt so it looks like the child is wearing some shorts underneath. That's hard to explain. But I did take some time-lapse video, and I'll stitch that together, and that will also be on my YouTube channel.
Sweet. And did you just use your phone for that?
I did. I have a
Time lapse?
tripod, and yeah, I went down to Walmart and got this little attachment that kind of like it hooks from two sides, kind of hooks on your phone.
Yeah.
I think Mia and Miles probably saw what I was using. So
Sweet. Such a cool idea to see the flower, you know, distorted with the bubble and then starting to grow and then finally like plucking itself off there. And these two
Yeah.
colors together are so eye-catchy.
yeah, I like how it turned out. The one thing that I changed was in that top full flower. Originally, that wasn't blue, just that little bit of blue there.
Yeah.
And then I had put just like a hint of it, and I thought, no, that's it. I need to do that whole kind of blue, and I really like how that turned out. So,
Yeah, definitely. Because the color theme the palette carries through there. Really neat.
yeah, thanks.
Really big too. It's hard to understand. You think that this is about your height there, somewhere in there?
Right. So you see how there's the lines going across, so
Yeah.
every two is about a foot,
Oh, yeah. So those are 6 inches each.
which was kind of nice because I didn't have a grid, and I found the halfway point by just counting those.
Yeah, that's easy for sure. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. And did you how long have you spent on it so far?
First day, 4 hours. Second day, 2. Today, maybe 30 minutes.
Cool.
So, but I don't know how those people do it, like in those videos we watched, and
So
in the middle of the night,
yeah.
so quickly. Yeah,
Lots of practice, I guess.
got some
And
skills
practice
I
is the
do,
same
too.
subject matter. And maybe if you always were drawing or painting kids blowing bubbles, like you would get to pop, you would just second nature. You'd have like the gesture of it real easily.
Yeah, you're right. You're right for sure.
Yeah. So is it done, or do you have more to do?
It's done. Yeah, so I signed it today.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think I want to be done.
Cool. Awesome. Really beautiful work.
Thanks.
And then we have, let's see here. Wait. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay. Here we have Mia. Before anything went to the wall, I think maybe you'd cleaned the wall at this point, or maybe not yet. I don't know. It's right when you showed up there. So Mia's been working for a couple days here, and yeah, I thought I had another version of it with just the the very light pictures or the very light trees, but yeah. So how did it go? You mixed all these different levels of trees. You mixed different grays, each more intense than the last. And did you feel like you went about it in a really efficient way? Anything to be improved, or you set out how you hoped to?
I wouldn't say I did it I guess I did it efficiently. Did I do it in a smart way? Probably not, but I think it was efficient enough. Because every time I finished with like a layer of trees, I would just like destroy that color to make a new color. So if I made a mistake, I just didn't go back. I didn't care.
You don't want to have to mix in the color again. I mean, it's possible, but at least with grays, it's much easier than an actual color. So
yeah, I wouldn't have done that if this mural were in color at all. But I feel like I could have been a bit less self-destructive in that sense, but it ended up working out, so not much complaining there.
Yeah, it turned out so good. It's such a cool mural, and it looks even better than your mock-up I was telling you, and it's so giant. I mean, obviously you can see how tall Mia is here versus how tall the whole mural is. So you really needed your ladder to get way up here.
Yeah, I was only barely able to reach the top of the tree giant's head. I actually, on my tippy toes, was only able to achieve finishing the giant's head by using the side roller of the 3-inch roller.
Yeah, with the extension on it. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So how many hours do you think you put into it?
The first day, I did this in 2 days, I think, for some of you who are aware. On Monday, I spent like 3 hours on it, 3 or 4, and then on the second day, which was yesterday, I spent about 7 hours on it.
Wow, that's a big day. I bet you're exhausted after.
Yes, I'm still tired actually.
Yeah, I rolled by right when Mia was finishing up yesterday, and yeah, just so much paint management and supplies management too. You know, just trying to make sure everything goes in its right place. At least you got some shade most of it, right?
Yeah. I'm more in supplies wise. I'm surprised I was able to fit my 6-foot ladder in my Honda Accord, my 1996 Honda Accord. I'm surprised that worked out as well as it did.
Yeah. Did you have to like put it over your neck and then drive with it coming to the back of the hatchback?
No.
Sweet. So you ended up using lines here, and did you start without the lines and then decided like, oh no, I have to have a distinction there, and then opted for it at the last minute, or was it always in the plan to put a couple lines in to break up the legs from the trees?
After I submitted my original design to you, I did a couple of refining features, and that's when I added the black lines and also some of the other stuff that makes the tree giant look a bit more tree-like. Like there's some twigs sticking out of him in places. I did a little bit of added detail.
Yeah, it looks great. Yeah, it's such a perfect mural for that place too, you know, and you had discussed that you'd also let the trees carry out just a little bit past the background. Things are awesome. I almost can see like a couple other black trees here too, you know, tapering away. You're done for sure, but I think that would look really neat too.
Yeah.
It would make it the whole thing appear that much bigger, you know.
It would, yeah.
So really awesome work. I mean, that's amazing. You just 2 days, it's done. You got a mural to your credit. Really good stuff.
Yeah, really.
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, it's great. So as far as, okay, so we have a couple others to talk about. Let's see here. We have Danielle. Me and her met here the other day, yesterday, I think, right? And you ended up pissing off the Home Depot paint guys, right?
Yeah, they weren't too happy with me.
You showed up and just laid out like 25 color swatches and said, give me a quart of each of these?
Pretty much. I think I got a couple of gallons to some of the bigger colors just because I knew they might take a little bit more room, and won't be a bad thing if you have a little bit of paint left over for other things.
Yeah, you got to store it.
But it was like a little over $400 already, and I still have to put rollers and things like that. So I swear they used the expensive paint on me though. I told them like the middle range, and I swear they like either they didn't have enough of that one, so they bumped it up.
You're like middle, upper middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good. Well, you're gonna have lots of paint from now on. Pastel colors.
Got a lot of really good paint to work with.
Cool. I checked in, and I think that tomorrow we had. Me and Danielle were talking about her design, which, if you recall, is the mountains, kind of like sharp mountains, and then like lots of wavy, cool colors. Foothills, it's a kind of a Wenatchee themed mural landscape. Yeah, we talked about, could you just freehand it? Should you grid it? Could you project it? And I don't know if you put it out there about the projector.
I've asked a couple of people, and I haven't heard anything yet.
I had to go through the protocol with the college of getting back on campus, but I think I can go tomorrow and get it. I'll keep you updated with that. But awesome. I will. The plan is that I can go into the Mac building and get the projector tomorrow.
I was planning on going there tomorrow to wash the wall and prep it.
Oh yeah, sounds good. Sweet. So a lot of cool decisions yet to be made on this and where it's going to fit and whatnot. But another thing I had recommended to Danielle, if you guys were in this situation, hers is vector. You created an Illustrator, right?
Yeah.
So it's very easy for her to just recreate that, you know, just drag and make a copy of the whole design and then just switch it into white lines or black lines. So it's just black and white, so that because in some situations, white lines being projected might be the best thing. In other situations, black lines being projected might be the best thing. And so you could just have 2 file versions, you know, flat JPEGs or whatever, but it's just, you know, the fact that it's vector, that's another reason to have kind of a digital version of things like that you can just make it a white and black version, and then just for the projection, and then then it becomes fill in the lines basically. So cool. Well, I'll keep you updated on my my hopes of getting a projector. So
cool.
That'll make it way more efficient. So let's see. I've been working hard at my mural too. Let's see here. So here I am going to put some. It's been interesting. I've been going back and forth on the text and like what sounds best in English, what sounds best in Spanish. And actually, it's going to be different than what we have here. And I decided to actually move the text, make it smaller, and move it over in this area here. So that's just a little nitpicky layout things that can become tedious, but they're really important. So I'm glad I just didn't rush in and do the text right away, because I'm still having questions about how things fit. But this is just a mock-up I did. This is not the wall itself. The wall itself looks like this. It's just such bright colors. It's really fun to work with crazy bright colors. This is a couple days ago, and you can see these different migratory birds that I'm depicting, and coming at different angles and of different sizes, and they all have different habitats and whatnot. I actually saw some turkey vultures today. That made me really happy, because I was just working on it yesterday and kind of looking at some of the details of the feathers on, looking from underneath. And yeah, it just kind of reaffirms some things, the way that, my reference photo looks one way, but when you see a real bird, then, you kind of have a different, a different perspective on it. So I'm going to keep, I kind of do like this version of the turkey vulture, just all dark, but then I actually did cover it with some colors. Of course, some days you come there and there was somebody just passed out, so I couldn't work on the text that day, but you never know who's going to be there.
That's funny though.
A lot of drama.
Excuse me, sir, I need to paint.
Here. The sun started to beat down pretty hard. And then, of course, I don't know if you guys have noticed all the little creatures on your walls, those of you painting outdoors, but there's this cute little jumping spider here with its cool cast shadow there. And this is one of it. There's actually been some really cool beetles that have come onto the wall too. So you can't not notice those. It makes me feel so bad when you roll over. I was a house painter for many years, so I have bad karma, but you roll over a little pocket or something, and then some dazed spider comes stumbling out covered in paint, and you feel sad. I don't like to kill spiders. So here we have adding the color of just the light color for the face. And I don't know if I should go for even the darker version, but that's kind of a fun decision. There's a little bit more happening with this bird. It's fun to just step back, and it's even coming along further. And I think this is the almost finished version of it here. And as you can tell, I just broke it down into 3 colors, and it takes a lot to interpret, like bright whites versus lights versus kind of the mid-tone versus the dark. And there's a lot that has to go into it. And especially for finding good reference photos and whatnot, but I'm happy with how it turned out. And then here's some of the detail on the turkey vulture, and I kind of feel like I need to add a little bit more light color at the bottom there, this kind of mid-tone on the underside there. So I'm still working on it, but I love this little dangling foot here, and let's see, little head is fun to work on. Let's see here.
It looks great, Marlon.
Hey, thanks.
Are you gonna put the names of the types of birds near the image?
Maybe.
Or?
I'm thinking about that. That's a ton of extra work, because there's ones all over the retaining walls too. So, but it'd be really sweet to have. It could be something that kids could walk around and look at different species and learn about them. And so, yeah, I guess we'll see. So I was working here, and I was so happy to have. So you can see all 3 colors in the head there. But I was working with I had my canvas on the drinking fountain there, and I was kind of leaning forward, working on it, and there was this sound, it was the sound of the cold water chiller coming on. And sure enough, for like 5 minutes, I'd been leaning against the drinking fountain. It just like soaked my canvas, because it was just spraying out water for like 5 minutes. I couldn't hear it or anything. So, it's okay though. So
survive.
Yeah. But the fun next thing I'm going to do is this big shorebird that the head, it's quite large. It's got really long, it's called the yellow legs. It's got really long dangly legs, and then the body's going to be here, and the head, it's going to be kind of, you know, grabbing something out of the mud here. So it'll be a nice, really big, really different type of bird for that part of the wall too. So it's really fun to just have a blank canvas. Okay. So I've been muraling, and my hands are just painty every night. So just know that we're all doing this together. So we have the, okay, so for those of you that still want to paint outdoors, you're inspired by everybody working outdoors, there's options. There is these areas here that are below. These are actually pretty big spaces here. So this would actually be almost 4 feet tall, or about 4 feet tall there. So even though it looks kind of short in this picture, this is actually a great space to do some painting on. So any of you that want to get on this wall, you know, he's been real quick about getting back to me on, you know, giving people permission. He's given all 3 of our classmates permission to paint on there. So just let me know if you wanted to do this for your final project. I'm going to talk about our final project in a moment here. So these walls are open. You got to claim them though. There's like maybe 3 to 4-ish of these size spaces that, yeah, this is probably like 7 feet wide, I'm guessing, something like that, and 4 feet tall, somewhere in there. If this is the space that has Miles's flower, then of course his petals come out, so that's smaller. But still, there's space to do something cool on there. So, so let me know. You guys have to get back to me in Sunday night about that. So let's talk about that. So, as you saw in my email, hopefully the image came through. So the Restore is down on Wenatchee Ave, kind of between Stan's and the bus station. And they just have all these doors there. There's all kinds of really flat doors. Some of them don't even have the hole for the doorknob. They're just like closet doors or different types of panels like that. But that's a huge, really easy to transport. Kind of, you can strap to the top of your car. It's kind of easier than plywood in a sense, depending on what kind of car you have. But they were just $20 for a nice big door. You know, they had other types of plywood and stuff too, but you know, you could even cut a door down if you didn't want that hole there. You could fill the hole in, but just know that that's a great option for our final project. There's some of the prices here. So they give you the sizes. So $20, 20. That was 32. I'm not sure why, if it's solid wood or whatever, but just to throw that out there, that's an option. This other alley space is an option. You guys can find your own options. You're heavily encouraged to find your own options for that too. So let's think about what we're going to do for that. Let's see, I need to grab. Let me pull up our site. I had it here, but looks like it went away. Okay, here we are. All right, so assignments, our final assignment. So it's going to be a 2-part assignment. So final project plan due June 7th, midnight. That's this Sunday. So this Sunday, I want you to have your plan totally figured out. I don't want it to drag on for another week where we're humming and hawing and trying to think of the best possible idea, and we end up just wasting a bunch of time. So this is me forcing you guys to have your plan, your gears in motion by Sunday night. You can also mural about you coming up with your design. So I'm just going to read some of this to you so it all makes sense. So after much deliberation, I've decided a great theme will be to borrow from our inspirations. So, you know, look at Instagram, look at Pinterest, look at, you know, we talked about other sites that people look at to get inspiration, obviously some Facebook or some Behance, Sage, etc., whatever. So for this project, I want you to show somehow work larger than we have yet and borrow either the theme or palette from another mural or large format illustrator. So working larger than we have so far, that's however you could do this where you work larger. So that's getting a door, that's getting a larger board, that's finding a wall space somewhere around you in the community, That's finding an art space in the alley. That's painting at your own house, whatever it happens to be. You know, you got to take the initiative and decide what works best for you with your schedule and whatnot. So I'd love to talk about that with you. You know, maybe I'll hear back. There'll be some other of my mural options that'll be responded to by next week. But you know, you need to have your own plan going for that. So we have 2 weeks left to do this. So, you know, we don't have a lot of time. So as far as borrowing from a palette, let's talk about how we're not stealing from other artists. We're just using them as inspiration here. So when I say borrow a color palette, take a look at this incredible mural from Ariz. I've showed you his work before. It's incredible painter from Spain. And a lot of his colors, I feel like I could just look at a mural that he's done, even though he uses different palettes in this, and I just know it's his. He likes a lot of really dull colors. This is a super highlight. But he uses dull burgundies and brownish purples and green, even for the skin and the hair. You know, it wouldn't occur, you know, a lot of people, he just really gets away with it in a beautiful way to just decide that the skin tone on a figure is green. That would be borrowing a palette. So you can just borrow from these general colors. You don't have to include every single color, but there's kind of a real, you know, subdued, dull quality to that that is really beautiful and eye-catching and unique. You just don't see that very much. So that's, I really love his palettes. Of all the mural artists that I follow, I really love the color choices he makes. Another artist that I follow is called Kipto. I've kind of posted a couple of videos about his. He always paints, not always, but almost always paints with reds and blues, and kind of, you know, the blue is sort of a highlight on the red, and the red is kind of being almost like a red light shining on the blue figures and whatnot. Check out his work. This is just come real small. He does gigantic murals in like 3 days. But this is another artist where you could just take that color palette, make whatever your art is, just borrow from this palette. And it's kind of nice to not have to think much about the colors. And again, a lot of this colors you could just, you know, buy maybe 3 different types of small sample size paint at Home Depot or paint store or whatever. Mix a little bit, but otherwise, you know, you just need a few colors to make that palette work. Does that make sense? Borrowing from the palette thing? Now, borrowing thematically here. So this is a different thing here. So some artists just have their thing that they do. They do the same thing over and over, and it's become kind of their signature. And you could borrow from their ideas. So maybe this is the best idea, but somebody had painted a mural here in a room, and it's cacti and llamas and other types of cacti. And it's kind of a repetitive theme, and they're spaced similarly and whatnot. You know, there's some error around all the subjects, but if you wanted to just do this theme, this is, you know, find a couple related objects and just kind of space them out everywhere. So it's a cartoony repetitive cacti and llamas. You could intersperse hovering sushi rolls with blobs of wasabi, pickled ginger, and soy sauce, for example. That would be a great subject. Food is always a good subject. Cindy knows that. You guys saw how successful that was. So whatever it is, you know, this is just a theme that you could work with. In this here, this artist, actually, I'm not sure if she is the artist or not. Maybe somebody just posing in front of it, but really cool piece. A lot of different colors, small gradations of paint that change through space here. But it's just this general shape of a butterfly with concentric lines that kind of look like ripples in a pond or something. So maybe you could do lines around something. I suggested the silhouette of a rat or a school bus, or who knows what else. I don't know. There's so much you can do with that style. That's how we're borrowing somebody else's idea and then just making it your own subject. So we don't have a lot of time. This is due in 2 weeks from today, basically. So what I need you to do is to come up, you know, do more research online, find artists that you really love their work, that you're inspired by, and included in this part of the assignment, this 100 points for this assignment, is for you to just give me the image that you're using to go off of. So find 1 image, maybe 2 images, that's all you have to do. But this is kind of, you know, your reference. You're going to be using this artist's either theme or palette, you know, how you interpret that. And then also you want to have your plan sketched out and submitted on Canvas. So You want to include an image, the artist that you're kind of taking their theme of their palette, and also your own sketch and a description of how you're going to work and where you're going to work. So you need to submit this on Sunday night. So this Sunday night coming up, which is the 7th by midnight, and you can also journal on it that way. You guys get your full journal points. This part of the project is worth 100 points out of the 300-point project. This is not a place to forget to do this, because that'll mean you get a 3rd off in your grade. This is really important. And a big aspect of this is that we're actually going to talk about this on Monday too. We're going to have independent Zoom calls starting at 10 on Monday, or we can set up times at another point on Monday. But we're just going to talk about it. I want to give you ideas. I want to give you feedback. I want to talk about like what your plan is and whatnot. So you have to budget that into part of it. So it's about 33 points for each of these, which is describing your plan, 33 points, submitting your image, 33, your inspiration artist, 33 points, and making time to discuss your plan with me is also 33 points. So that's the rest of the project is worth 200 points, the actual painting of it. I included some great video links here. I'm gonna let you watch these on your own time, but this is just a giant cartoony mural that's really cool. It's time lapse. I can't help but post things for you guys. Got the boom lift here. This one here is 3 artists collaborating on these giant cats. So cool. Just the way they work, really neat to see. All aerosol. It actually goes really fast. It's beautiful though. It's very complex what they did though. And I don't know why this one went to the link itself, but it's kind of got your quotes interspersed here. And it's kind of a floral theme. So I've noticed that a number of you really love black and white, and that's definitely an option for this mural as well. And on that note, I will let you guys watch this on your own time here. I just wanted to show you what I had there. On that note, I'm gonna go to the campus, and I could probably go next week as well, but I don't know if you guys have seen in the Mac building, when I have pretty much every quarter I have a normal illustration class, we do ink work on these really large, heavy, thick paper that we roll out. I can get a couple pieces of that for you. Those are 4 feet by however wide, and you guys, or tall. And you guys, and I also have, if you guys can see me right now, these heavy duty push pins I can give you if you wanted to do, onto some big paper that you have a place for at your house. So plywood's gonna be great, finding a wall's gonna be great, but barring that, if you wanted to use a brush and some ink, I'd recommend that as opposed to a Sharpie, because using a brush is just, over all the years I've done this, it always comes out best with a nice fat brush and some ink. But you could tack this to your wall and put some safety materials underneath your paper so you don't drip ink on your floor. But these nice big push pins make it super easy. So I have a few of those for you. I need you to contact me if you wanted to do that option. If you wanted big sheets of paper, you need to tell me it's 4 feet by however other size you want. You can even have 2 pieces of it. So you could have, 6 feet by 8 feet on your wall if you had that space to work. So you need to give me the measurements. You need to email me what exactly you need and how we can arrange to pick it up. I'm going to be there tomorrow. So if you let me know, by tonight, then I can get some tomorrow. Otherwise it's going to have to wait till next week. But that would be more of a black and white mural option. I imagine you could paint on that paper. It's really thick cardboardy paper, but I've never done it. And so you could probably do some limited color. It might work out well, but I really can't guarantee it. But for sure, ink works great on it. Wet ink works just fine on that paper with no distortion. Okay, any questions about any of that so far? Yes, Alexa?
How many spaces do we have left in the art alley that are unclaimed, like a number?
Like I said, about 3 to 4 in those lower areas. You could paint in the upper areas too. It would pay to just go drive by there and just take a look. The gates are open. We'll be open today until 5. You could just go into that art alley. And does everybody understand where it is? If you're on Wenatchee Ave, go heading south, heading toward Malaga that way. Come to Yakima Street. You actually can't take a left there, but you should take that left on that Yakima, or just come down Yakima Street downhill toward Columbia. Halfway between Wenatchee Ave and Columbia Street, closer to the Columbia River, is the alley to the left there. And right in there is where our alley is. It's really obvious. So anyone could just drive by and just see if there's some good spots. But there's even options to go on the other side of the alley, perhaps. He doesn't want us to paint on the pure brick. So that's not necessarily an option, but yeah, there's some great sites there that are plenty big, like 7 feet by 4 feet is huge.
The main ones though are the horizontal ones.
Yeah, the lower ones for now. But there is some upper spaces too, and there's a little bit of space around the corner. You know, certainly if you go there and there's a space that seems great, you can tell where Miles and Cindy and Mia are, like, you know, so it's clear where the spaces that are still available. Just take a picture of it and then, you know, submit Photoshop your design onto it, and then I can get it to the owner of the building and get you permission to do it. So.
You still have remaining pictures of the walls, or should I go in?
I have kind of one looking down the alleyway I could find in my pictures, perhaps. I think I had posted it before in proposals to assignment description, I believe. I think it's in there. Let me see if it is in there real quick. Here, okay, so Mia has this. Miles's flower is right in this area here. This over here is Cindy's. So below this window is actually big. Below here, there's even some people that have done some cool, like, kind of street art on some of the pipes and stuff in this area. You know, kind of below 2/3 of this is good. This is all good. You probably could paint on these doors. That wouldn't be an issue to do something in this whole area. And it's not that weird, even though there's like a 9-inch ledge there, a cohesive mural could be on both of these at the same time. And areas up above here. I think there's one spot even further to the left here. Can you remember, Cindy? There is?
Yeah, I think there is. I think the best thing to do is just go down there and look and let inspiration take over, because there's so many great ideas. And I think if we can fill this wall, I'd love to help put together an art opening, maybe in July or August.
Yeah, that's such an awesome idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get on there too. So I'll just take whatever scrappy seconds are there, but I would love to do a little something in there too. So awesome. Okay. Any other questions about any of that?
Yeah, I have one.
Mia?
So I saw in the final description that a 4x4 plywood board might work. Would that be fine?
Yep, it would be. Just the fact that it's bigger than we're working, and 4x4 is nice. It's kind of hard to transport unless you have a truck or a van or something, but or 4x8 sheet of plywood, but that gets harder to put up, you know, in a house somewhere. So,
that's
4x4 seems like a great size.
Yeah, cool.
And like
because
I said,
I don't want to leave my house again.
Yeah, you can you know, it's already cut. Like at Home Depot, for example, and Lowe's, you just go there and you don't have to have them custom cut a 4x8 sheet. It's just 4x4. It's already cut. You just put it on your shopping cart and just take it out of the store. So
yeah, actually it'd be pretty easy, because in Leavenworth we have a really good and relatively big hardware store, and I could just go there and they have lots and lots of different cuts for plywood sizes, so I could just go and grab one.
You're talking about Marson and Marson?
Yeah, I love Marson's.
Yeah, they'll cut any size you want, no problem. You just go and just find a cheap piece of wood and be like, oh, cut it. And they'll usually cut it for free, actually. So yeah, that's worth checking out. We have a Marson and Marson in Wenatchee also that would do that. And then there's that place in Sunny Slope. There's also, what's it called? The lumber place there.
I wouldn't know.
Lombards.
They also, Lombards, yeah. They cut stuff. And yeah, just ask them and they'll cut whatever. They have a million types of plywood in there. So it's all very good options.
Cool.
Okay, so let's see. I wanted to show you all a couple mural styles. I couldn't help myself here. There's so many murals I come across that just blow my mind. This is one of them. And I just have to show you some. This is huge. This is a huge building. And these are like oil dipped bears hovering above 3D projected colors, or I don't even know what it is, but yeah, these are called Never Crew. They're somebody I've just become familiar with. I've seen their work, but I didn't know who they were. But yeah, they do crazy cool stuff. This Never Crew. Here's another. I'm actually trying to work on my own chromed metallic looking mural. I need to make some props and stuff for it, but this is something I saved this specifically because I was searching for references on chromed stuff.
Are the reflections in that last one, are those actual reflections or they're painted?
This is a totally flat painting. This drop shadow is just paint, and these buildings, they're painted on there.
That's awesome.
Are they
So
actually
cool.
what would be reflected, or?
I don't know. These look like more modern buildings here. These look like old buildings. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be really cool feature.
And well, actually, look at this. This is a tree in winter, but this tree's in spring or summer. So I think you can tell that. I don't know. Maybe the reference is from. It'd be hard to paint the color anyway. So that's a good decision I think they made. But so sweet. So this is Never Crew also. This is the ones that had the hovering bears there. So somebody to seek out. But yeah, I've got my own plans for doing a chrome thing that I'm really excited to get on, and I think I can get it paid for this summer. So I'll keep you updated on that. This is somebody else who did this. This is just flat paint. I don't know how. I would imagine somebody built this in a 3D program, like I'm thinking about doing, and then giving it a chrome finish, but ridiculous. All the colors in there. It's so cool. I really need to see this in real life. So if anybody wants to do this in the next 2 weeks, I'll give you an A for the quarter.
Hey, Marlon had a question.
Yeah.
You know how New York or Seattle, they have apps or Facebook pages where you can go and see mural art. Does Wenatchee already have one?
You know, I met this woman who's working for the city. She actually needed to put in some hours, so I let her work on my bathroom mural. She is creating a database of public art that will be on some kind of a City of Wenatchee website right now.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Pretty sure murals will be up on there. I asked her that, and something came up, and I think she didn't answer, but I'll make sure the murals are part of what's on that database. But yeah, when I took a field trip to Seattle with the class, I had this app that I downloaded from the city of Seattle, and it just had a map of every mural in the whole city. It was awesome. It was really easy to use.
Yeah, super fun. Yeah. Martha Flores just sent me a message, and she has a mural downtown and was wanting to go retouch it. And we talked about having a map and First Friday and all that. So. Oh,
cool. Yeah, that'd be great to have. We need more murals also to put on that, to justify it.
Right. Well, let's
do more and more murals.
Fill the alley first.
That's right. This is a neat one. It's kind of got like a 70s. I don't know what it is. Just that style. Real simple colors. Real graphic line quality. Real dark shadows. I love it. It's a neat mural. Very simple. Oh, why? It's all pixelated. I thought this was bigger. The image came out bigger, but gorgeous use of color here. I love it. I love everything about this mural. And obviously, you know how much I love bird heads. So, and yeah, that kept going there. So, okay. Just wanted to show you a couple murals and whatnot. Okay, so everybody clear then? Read the assignment description. So let me go in here and so the assignment, so there's 2 assignments for this. So the 100 points and the 200 points. So we have final project due June 7th at midnight. This Sunday, have your plan, have your art figured out, decide if you're taking somebody's color palette or their theme or whatever. And then June 17th, that is that Wednesday, that's 2 weeks from today. This is when it's due. This is when the final project is due, and we'll have a Zoom session that day to just go over everybody's project. So it's due before class on that Wednesday. Okay. Any other questions about any matters of business whatsoever?
I have a question.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I just have a quick question. Can I talk to you for like 1 minute after Zoom class.
Okay, I'm gonna set my stopwatch for 1 minute and
Cool.
yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I
we'll
might
talk after.
also like to talk to you for a minute as well.
Okay.
Maybe for 2 minutes.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm gonna do after this is I want to test out that waiting room function. So let's see. So Alexa wanted to talk first, or wait, who is? Sorry, I can't see.
I think
who's
it was
talking.
Alexa, Sage, and Danielle.
Yeah, I don't
Alexa,
care if there's
Sage.
people. I just need like a 1 minute. Hey, blah blah blah. There's
Yeah, I don't care either.
Perfect. So I'm gonna set up a new Zoom session right after we get out of this call, and I'm gonna enable the waiting room thing. So I think you guys will just keep Zoom on, and then I'll just, I'll go in order and I'll select each of you to talk one-on-one. The other people will just be on hold. So you guys could just be doing whatever for a couple minutes while I'm talking to each student, and we'll just come on individually if that's how you want to do it. We'll be able to test it out because on Monday we are going to use that waiting room feature, and you guys are going to set up a session to talk. Sometime between, let's say, 10 and 11 on Monday. It's in the assignment description. So yeah, I'll just be doing that waiting room feature at 10 on Monday morning. If you can't talk then let me know another time you can talk on Monday. Just what other time of day works for you, and I'll see if it works for me. So, okay, Amanda, did you have a question?
Yeah, as far as describing our plan, what would you like us to include in that?
Great question. Yeah, just words are great descriptors as far as this is what I plan to do. Maybe just a few sentences is enough. But a tiny sketch also would be great to have. So those two things, just a short description of what you're intending, where it's going to be, just a few sentences for both of those, or what surface it's going to be on. And then, yeah, just a little sketch on what you intend. So I have something to go off of when we talk for our one-on-one interview.
Just so you are aware, I know Mia and me both have an 11 o'clock photography that day too.
Okay, we'll be doing it at 3 like normal anyway, so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said 10.
Oh, on Monday, you said.
Yeah, Mondays.
Oh, okay.
Just heads up.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So let me know. I mean, I think that I'll just be a few minutes conversation with everybody. I chose just randomly 10 out of 11, but let me know if you would like to talk before then, and I'm happy to talk at 9:30. I'm available. So maybe that's better. So just shoot me an email and say, okay, I will be there at 9:30. And for sure, for those of you and Mia that need to do that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, other questions? Okay, all right. Well, I'm gonna end this call and then I'm gonna set up another Zoom session for right now on our Zoom link in Canvas. And I'm gonna enable the waiting room feature. And I'll try to hit Alexa first and then Sage. And then, sorry, who's the third one?
Danielle.
Danielle, sorry, Danielle. Okay, right on. Good to see you guys, and have fun coming up, doing some research and having a great final project. And I'm here to help you. So talk to you again Monday. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
See you.